this whole Boomich situation is unfolding, mostly the way I would kind of characterize it is it's almost just revenge porn in all senses. The way that she, basically how his ex-wife now, I don't know if the divorce is finalized necessarily, but either way, the soon-to-be ex-wife of Boomich has leaked all of these videos of him. I think naked. I think he also the video of him doing what is probably an illicit substance. And I think the reaction to it is there's two different parts of this for me. There's one that's just like the reaction to it and what it just means for his entire career. The reaction to it is more like just what people are saying on Twitter and Reddit and stuff like that about like, he's using these drugs, and so he's a like bad, or he's just like, he's messed up or something like that. Like, it's just so short-sighted, and it's just like just low IQ takes. Like, that's just how I'll put it, where people are basically just saying he's a bad guy because he does this drug, where it's like, that doesn't, like, there's no morality in using an illicit substance, really. Like, there's nothing really wrong about that. Like, you can't really prove in an ethical or moral sense that by using that you're a bad person. And I think that it's kind of the second part, I guess, is that because of this, though, he's probably not going to get on a team anytime soon. Like, because she released him doing this stuff, people are going to look at that as he is, because he got released from Na'Vi already. But I think now it's like conflating information about they took him out of the team because of. Do you guys have the quote? It was something like just. Outside
reputational risks for the club.
Yes, reputational risk for the club. And what that was to me prior to this was that he was dating, or he was married to a woman that was posting Russian tanks on her Instagram. And so him being associated with her was a bad look for a Ukrainian organization. And now I think that sort of the reputational risk is being changed by the public narrative now that he is actually, it's because he's a drug abuser or something like that, which I think is almost what she wants people to believe, that she's shifting what the perception of Boomich is because she's releasing this sort of footage out there. And I think that's really not, in my perception of it, it wasn't why Boomich was released from Na'Vi. I'm sure they have more information as to why he was a reputational risk, but from everything I was getting in from rumors and things I'm hearing from players and people close to the scene and the organization, it was more just he had a wife that was doing a lot of stuff that was not kosher.
And apparently, there's more to come. I think she has posted on Telegram that she has more stuff that maybe will come out eventually. But
is this illegal?
I don't know. Well, and one thing that not a lot of people have noticed, that she said that he assaulted her. She said that she knocked a tooth. So not many people picked up on that. So it's not just drug use; it's also assault. But from what I was told, Na'Vi expected something like this to come. Maybe it's not the entirety of it, and more stuff could come out in the future. I don't know. He said that he's going to file lawsuits against maybe her and some other people. But from what I was told, Na'Vi knew that this was going to happen eventually.
Okay. First things first, right? Being asked, like, I didn't make all the stuff public, but it just is now public. If you just want to get an interesting / brutal take on this whole scenario, but that also, this is the secondary element, shows you, spoiler, no one really changes that much. Like, there isn't really a new simple. What we mean by that is he just got a little bit more shrewd about when not to say certain things, or when to do a fake smile, or when to actually just make yourself, like, just fucking shake the hand of someone who beat you, basically. The reason there isn't really a new simple is if you saw the video where Simple responds to this situation on stream, it is fucking hilarious. Like, you can imagine the words he might use to describe this woman. You'll just have to go watch it for yourself. It's just worth watching, okay? Like, it's just stupid as fuck, so watch it anyway. But then secondly, first of all, I also like how naive Maui is, where he doesn't realise how ridiculously, like first of all, like, what an Anglosphere comment that is, like, where he's from. It's when he was saying there, Mira, he was going, there's no moral component in taking drugs, or whether you, I don't know if you know this, Maui, I would say, most of the greatest religions of all time absolutely do prescribe a moral component to taking drugs, believe it or not, Maui. That's actually, I would say, sort of a fundamental, you can almost say like commandment or tenet that, you know, could indeed not only affect like your life now, but all your eternal life of your soul, believe it or not. I know you didn't know the stakes were that high when you just did that cheeky little, we've all sniffed really fast. That's all I'm going to say. We've all had a really fast sniff, but believe it or not, it can carry consequences. No, but what I would say more seriously is this. There's two elements I want to make a point on. One is this. It's actually more from sort of a journalism perspective. So maybe Mira himself might have a comment on this. One thing I try to do a very careful job with is I always try to check my protocols of what a journalist can and cannot comment on, and in what capacity, whether it's public, private, like am I doing it off a broadcast as part of my work. So one thing that might seem like, to other people, this might seem like an irrelevant distinction, but this is a key distinction to me. Because Boombl4 himself in no way made any of this information public, right? I personally do not believe it is in the public's interest to know if Boombl4 takes illegal drugs. I don't think it is anyone's business in Counter-Strike, for example, whether they're an investor or a fan, whether Boombl4 has an STD. I don't think that is anyone's business at all. So personally, like in general, just watch for this. I'm actually probably not going to make, for example, even jokes on Twitter about this or reference it as like part of the sort of grist for the mill of making jokes on shows, etc. Because essentially I treat this as information I shouldn't know. This information shouldn't be out there. It's different in this case, right? Someone like Device made his relationship public in a way where if people then comment on some of those things, some of that is in the public domain, mate. You made that public. You let, like, another example, if you were from League of Legends, would be when Lena, who was the president of TSM at the time, let everyone know she was dating Doublelift, who was a player at the time for Team Liquid, but later for TSM. Again, now people absolutely, it's totally reasonable people comment on that. You put it in the public sphere, it's even, you've essentially publicised it yourself. So one is, I do think in general, I know we can't do this, but we should essentially make all your comments now, get your stuff out the way, but in general, we should essentially try and forget this if we can and treat Boombl4 just based on who he was as a professional esports player. And then the other thing I would say is this, which is, this is just a more general point, and it goes like this. This is why there's a very important lesson you can take from this case if you're just a man watching this show. And I would even throw in a couple of the obvious examples. How about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case? Or let me think, what would another good one be? In theory, anyone who's super duper famous, Kanye West would be a fucking perfect example. The mistake here, guys, isn't what happens at the end of the relationship. It isn't how it breaks down and the specific things they argued about, or the mistake these men have made, in my opinion, is this. They did a terrible job at the beginning. Their actual choice of spouse seems really inappropriate for what they wanted in their lives. Like, if they wanted a life without drama, if they wanted a life with a nice family like home, if they wanted someone who's just going to be like a cool partner who's not going to, they picked terribly. Like, and that's just something, look, I know it might sound like a harsh point, but just look at how it bore out. Look at the fucking fruits that these trees bore. So I would say is that the real life lesson here, guys, is don't get caught up in all the drama of all the rest of it. Just understand when someone shows you mad red flags at the beginning. I purposely picked those three cases because all those people are showing you constant and crazy red flags. Believe the red flags. Like, the problem with that is you're going to look so stupid later when you're like, because here's the problem. You can't, if you're now Boombl4, turn around and go, how could I have known? It's like, bro, this happened before you even got married to her. Like, he could have known, I'm afraid. And listen, I feel sorry for you. Obviously, everyone hopes it all works out, but like, this is a real life lesson, like, people can take away that's nothing to do with esports. Just be genuinely, one of the most important decisions you ever make in your life is someone who's going to be your partner, someone who's going to be a spouse, potentially a long-term relationship. Like, don't do that frivolously. Don't do that based on any stupid MTV video, like she had a fat ass in the club. Like, yeah, tell you what, that fucking ass will be bolder in your head later on when it fucking turns out 3 years later. Do you want that fucking money for that kid, mate? So just keep it under wraps and be reasonable. That would be my advice there. Be reasonable. In all senses. Be reasonable to Boombl4 as well, like I say. I know it's fucked up, because the problem with this is some of this stuff naturally is just funny for young men, in it. Like, oh, Lord, we saw his dick or whatever. Like in that, and by the way, if you listen to it on that Telegram channel, she even claims later that might not even have been a picture of him. So it doesn't really seem like the most good faith actor of all time. He's just disappeared for a second.
One of the worst parts about it is the impact that this will have on his career, right? Because there are many teams out there who can pick him up because of the Iron Curtain, right?
Yes.
Most likely have to go back a tier and compete for the small Russian team to be able to continue his career, which is very sad. And you have to wonder if this is not one of the biggest what-if stories in Counter-Strike in recent years, because it was bad enough for Na'Vi when they had their 5-man roster and they were still dealing with the fact that 3 of the players are from Russia, 2 are from Ukraine, and there was a war going on. Right now, they just lost their IGL and they're going to have to replace him, and they're considering giving the reins over to Electronic, and we have to wonder what kind of team Na'Vi will be at the end of this, to be honest.
Sure.
And if Na'Vi will ever be the same team, maybe they won't. I have my doubts about it.
Yeah, actually to touch on just the team itself, if they get Buster for Boomich, which
you know what, Maui? Here's a go. I can't blow it when the moment's there, right? I'll waste a joke on this show that's straight fire. It's just tiny bit edgy, isn't it? Which is, when people say that thing all the time, Mouse Snake, on Reddit, like if they hear about the ESL Impact tournament, all guys will go in there like, oh, women fucking suck at these sports. Like they could never even compete in a qualifier. What are you talking about? 2 women alone took down 2 of the greatest CSGO teams of all time, Astralis and Na'Vi.
Yeah.
When they can do anything they put their minds to, whatever.
All right.
That's pretty good. I kept it safe at the end. Like, listen, it's my edgy topic, but I kept it safe. Kept it safe for it. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good angle. All I'm saying is, apparently, Team Liquid, that you know which 2 people to pick up next. Like, those were the squads.
It's coming from inside. Yeah.
I know, it is. Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.